Okay, we're going to take a minute to take a look at applying a grip texture to the front here and to the back strap. Normally I use grip tape, which is my preferred way to go. The one thing I don't like about grip tape is the semi-permanent nature of it. It has a tendency to come off. And so if I want something that's a little more permanent or near permanent, I like to go with a texturing, which we're going to talk about right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little two-part epoxy. In this case I'm using JB Weld. We'll just mix it up. We don't need a lot, just enough to put a thin coating on those two spaces. Okay, once I have it sufficiently mixed, we'll apply just a very little bit, just a light layer to both sides. You'll notice the gun is taped up to avoid any over application. Once I get that light covering, next I'm going to apply some sand. And then finally I'm going to take this green scouring pad and just push down to sort of push the sand into the epoxy, as well as creating a rough texture. Looks like I could use a little more sand in a couple places. Done with one side, hit up the other. I actually got this idea from a very well-known rifle maker who would do this on parts of his rifle stocks. He made tactical rifles for military and law enforcement application, and he would do this to texture his stocks. Press it down, create some texture. A friend of mine once grabbed one of these and complained that there was too much texture to it. It was too grippy. They didn't like it. But I'm a big fan. Let's put a little more in the back. Alright, we'll see what it looks like when it's hardened. I like to just wait a couple of minutes, not too long, and then remove the tape and let the epoxy dry without the tape in the area so that I have those clean lines. So here we go. The tape has been removed. It's not quite dry yet. We'll give it a couple of hours, and then what I'll probably do is hit it over with some paint, and we'll be done. Okay, the JB Weld has had plenty of time to dry. What we've ended up with is this extremely positive grip surface. That coupled with these aftermarket grips really make it a very dynamic and well textured surface. Definitely not for everybody, but for me, I like it. So I think the next thing we'll do is I'll just hit it up with a little bit of black paint just to restore the appearance, and we'll be done. Okay, it's been painted over. Everything's had a chance to dry and cure. So we're pretty much done. It's a very nice surface. I'm not sure in the future. What I might do is mix in the sand median with the epoxy prior to applying it to the surface, and then texturing it with a dampened sponge or something. But regardless, it's pretty nice. I know a lot of people will look at this and they'll say, well, gosh, that's a permanent modification, which is kind of the point, right? I mean, the whole reason for doing this is because grip tape comes off and peels, and it's not permanent. So, it's not nearly as permanent as, say, sending it off and getting it machine checkered or something like that, which is difficult on these front straps because of the lip and everything else. So it's not as permanent as that. I mean, this can be taken off with a little bit of sanding or some very light grinding. It's certainly not as permanent as stippling the polymer frames like the Glock, the M&P, and things like that. So for sure it's more permanent than grip tape, and it will be harder to remove if I need to or want to, but at the same time it's not as permanent as some other solutions. For me, it's kind of a nice Goldilocks solution.